Is it okay?
Yes, madam.
Okay. It's okay, no?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't take much of the time, and I thank the organizers for the opportunity and the kind introduction also. Actually, I'm going to talk about the technologies which we have developed at CFTRI. My focus will be more into technologies, but still I need to share with you one or two points that is a point of concern. Like we all know, this is an international year of millets, and millets are nutritionally very important. And I think you would have heard enough about the nutritional benefits and health benefits of millets. But still, because of all its components, maybe it may be dietary fiber, it may be the endosperm structure and the starch granules, which are very compactly arranged. When you see, compare it with rice, the starch granules of millets are very compactly arranged. So, and quite a good amount of dietary fiber is also present in not only the outside, inside of the kernel also. And many of the millets, as you know, they contain a lot of phytochemicals. And all these, the points, all these components, they pose sometimes problem for processing. And it depends on the usage, like how you have to process and how you have to make a very consumer friendly products out of millets. Because even though we do find a lot of millet based products, but still I feel its consumption is not on par with major cereals. This is mainly because of its nutritional composition and the presence of a good amount of dietary fiber, which gives a chewy texture, and also the presence of phytochemicals. They give sometimes the dark colors, and there are some problems associated when you come, when you use millets in different products. So what how we have to tackle this is, each millet has to be pre-processed in a suitable way. See, for example, the phytochemicals, they are beneficial when you consider the population who are adult, obese, and diabetics, and such target groups. When you process millets for children and maybe the lactating mothers, so you have to process it in a different way, because millets, as you know, they do contain a good amount of even sometimes even protein, and also the calcium and other vitamins and other minerals like iron and so on. What happens, it is not the important point is, it matters that like how much your body can absorb. It is actually it is not the point that how much you eat, how much your body can absorb. So therein the point comes the bioavailability. So what happens if you target the products into for example, say weaning children, weaning is around 6 months and above. Then if you make a product, maybe for example you are choosing calcium, so ragi is rich in calcium, so you are making a calcium rich product. So you have to process ragi in such a way that its dietary component is low, and then it also contains so much of biochemicals like phytates and polyphenols. So the absorption of these calcium will be low if you if the person consumes as a whole grain. So each millet requires a suitable pre-processing depending upon the end use. And also, there is a need to develop RTE, ready to eat, ready to cook, and ready to serve or ready to use products, and which are sensorily acceptable and convenient, because nowadays each consumer needs convenience also. So there are a number of popular products, so we have to replace or partially replace those products with millets. That is the need, so that you can popularize the millet based products. See, for this I have to tell you the slightly, I will tell you the very briefly the structure of millets, when you say sorghum, pearl millet, and finger millet, what happens? They have naked caryopsis. That what I mean is you need not dehusk and remove a non-edible component from that. What they contain is maybe glooms. Generally, glooms will fall during threshing, and sometimes the primary processing itself, many of the glooms will come away. So glooms are not a problem. And in case of all other millets, foxtail, little, proso, barnyard, kodo, and sorry, it is not included in this, it is a brown top. So all this millet, they contain husk, which is a non-edible component. So what happens? Primary processing is very much essential for these millet. So in case of the above three, that I can talk later. So in case of the husked millet, so what generally in southern part of the country, what we do is generally we dehusk it, and it is like a mixture of husked and dehusked grains. So in case if you take rice also, it is the same situation. When you dehusk paddy, it is a mixture of paddy and rice. So similar is the situation of millets also, it is a mixture. And because what happens, the millet industry actually it consists of small players, not very big players. That is why most of them, they don't afford for a color sorter or such kind of separation technique. So what happens, mostly they separate manually, and the dehusked brown grains they consider, and the brown millet is sold. And what happens in case of foxtail millet, if you take, and even barnyard millet, uh, for example, we can say that 95% of the grains are dehusked, but still you have 5% husked grains. So the 5% husked grains, because we cannot digest a cellulosic, because the husk is cellulosic and silica, it poses some digestive problems. So you have to separate it. And even in color sorter, both husked and dehusked grain, it looks the same. So it depends on the color. Color sorter works depending on the color. So it is very difficult. It poses a problem. And they are very small grains. And color sorters are like, 30 lakhs plus. So it is the affordability for the small players, it is a major problem. And another problem with these many of these millets is the shelf life. So what happens, most of its lipids are situated in the outer part. And if you consume the brown millet, if you powder it and keep it for a long time, the either the powder or the products made up of brown millet, they cannot be kept for a longer time because of the shelf life issues. And even if you prevent oxidative rancidity, there will be lipolytic acidity, because the lipase is very much active. So the story is, it is like rice only. So what happens in either most of us, we consume almost 12% polished rice, or we go for entirely brown rice. And the millet also same. In most of the southern states, we consume brown millet. And most of the north part, if you go for especially Nasik and all, they over polish it. They polish it in such an extent, the millet will become like a suji. That is the level of polishing. Almost different cone polishers they keep, and then polish it to a very nice extent. So when you over polish any grain, most of its nutrients are lost. So what we suggest, like, one is it can go for dehusking, and you will get a mixture of husked and dehusked grains. There is a need for a mechanical separator. Mostly it should be density separators, that is better. And then it should be polished for some 2 to 3%. So if you polish for 2 to 3%, it is not only you are losing some part of the bran, but still its culinary properties. What I mean is cooking properties. Cooking properties improve. The sensory acceptability improves, and also the keeping quality also increases, and you don't lose much of the nutrient in that way. So using semi-polished millet is one way of promoting millet-based product. Or brown millet also, one can use it, but see that it is not admixtured with the husked grains. And but to improve its keeping qualities, the brown millet can be processed in a like maybe the heat processing is the one way to extend its shelf life, but it is not common for all. Maybe if you take pearl millet or your foxtail millet and little millet, the shelf life is very poor. Whereas ragi has got a longer shelf life, wherein you can process it in a different way. So, if you have to see, ragi is one example of processing is refining. Ragi it contains an edible seed coat, so one can powder and then use it if you are making products for any adult population. But if you think that you have to promote ragi in bakery, one point, and maybe you can think that your ragi should be incorporated for as a snack or as a as a product for maybe children. In that case, what happens, the seed coat is mostly of dietary fiber, which stops which somewhere it prevents the absorption of either protein or the minerals and other nutrients from the grain. So what you can do, it can be tempered and it can be powdered. Tempering means you are adding some 5% of water to the grain, and then that can be kept for some 15 to 20 minutes, and it can be powdered, and then the seed coat can be removed by sifting. So what happens, you will get mostly the flour, wherein you are see, if you see the picture, the product is the brown part is the seed coat. So this what for products for children, products for mothers, and it can be used for like bakery, where in the bakery if you have more of seed coat, you have to add more fat into that, so that can be avoided. And there is a n number of products you can make from millets. It can start from like a refined flour or polished flour in case of sorghum and bajra, and you can parboil, popping, expansion, extruded, drum drying, flakes, and so on. So different products are available. At CFTRI, we have made almost 53 technologies on millets. And then there are a few products which I can explain to you. This is finger millet vermicelli, so which can be used as a breakfast cereal, and another one is a finger millet papad. The raw papad looks small and dark, but if you add it to oil, it is more appealing and more tasty also. And we have a murku ready mix from finger millet. So nowadays everybody wants convenience, just like your jamun mix. So it people need only, you have to mix it with either the suitable either water, and then you use the product that offers convenience for the end user. So such kind of ready mixes are available from ragi. And if you say flakes, we can prepare flakes from any millet after suitable pre-processing. We have a technology for foxtail millet flakes, which can be extended to all other millets. And even in a jower is one grain which is used in a roti like product, and jowar roti is released by many. But the problem is jowar is not very shelf stable, and the flour you need to prepare fresh. So always when you buy flour from jowar flour, we ask whether it is fresh. So that is one constraint they have. So we have developed a shelf stable jowar flour which can be stored for 10 months, and then it can retain its freshness. And also to offer convenience, we have shelf stable roti, which can be prepared from finger millet, jowar, and bajra. So they can stay at ambient condition. That means at room temperature for 12 days. And then if you are refrigerating, it can be kept for 2 months. So these are just you have to heat it and then use it. So that offers convenience to the consumer. And we have a drink mix that is from a millets. Again, it contains, it is multi millet. It contains sorghum, bajra, and finger millet, and all other nuts and other condiments. So that is already, it is available in market, which can be cooked for 3 to 4 minutes and consumed. It is like a porridge or a drink mix. So if you see the the one in cup, so that is a beverage mix. So it is beverage means, the first sip to last sip, it should like taste the same, and it shouldn't be sedimented. So because all these millets are, of course, they belong to the cereal family, and they are mostly starchy in nature. So what happens, any starch, it is heavier, it always settles. So the challenge is to make this as a to remain as a suspension and completely dissolve in milk. So this, the product is an instant beverage mix from malted ragi. So we used germinated ragi here, and it is a technology, so wherein it can be used like maybe whatever the commercial product is available, maybe the Horlicks, Boost, so it can compete in that way. It is an RTE beverage, so it is completely from malted ragi. And I told any popping, because popping is one of the easier and economical way of converting any cereal into ready to eat form. So what happens, we are so used to corn. So popcorn is one of the variety which we know that it pops like anything. And all of us, we enjoy, especially the youth, when they go to movies. So without popcorn, nothing, the movie is incomplete. So in that way, all these millets also can be popped. But only thing is, we have to redesign the popping machine, because they are small grains, and maybe you have to some modification in the popping unit. So you can always pop these grains, and some are not popping, means you can always temper it with some added moisture, and then always it is proven that added moisture, it helps in improves popping. So what we have done, popping of selected millets. And then because we are not the consumer is not used to the taste of millet, still you feel the bran portion will be there. When you pop, the husk will come away, but the bran will remain. So in such cases, so what you can do, you can powder it and mix it with any other ingredients, and convert it to a ready to eat powder, which can be shaped into burfi or laddu. This we made especially for school going children, and it gives a very good the nutrition along with the micronutrients. So that comes from all these millets. And to use the, because I told the millets, because they slightly they offer that they exhibit the chewy texture. In that way, to improve its culinary properties, millets can be converted into semolina. When you convert millets into semolina, the benefit is semolina is one class, one form of the grain, which can go into very any Indian cuisines. For example, even globally also it can go. And the benefit here is it shows without any heat treatment, it can give you almost 4 months shelf life, wherein the shelf life of millets are very low. In such millets, this is a beneficial thing. You can always convert both into your medium rava or your chiroti rava, and then that can be incorporated into many of the cuisines. And this we have some ready mix like a upma mix. It is like a very popular product in South India, like upma and kesari bath. So both ready mixes are available, which needs some 5 to 6 minutes cooking time. That is only seasoning. So it is a ready mix which contains everything. Only the consumer has to add oil and just slightly cook it with water. And this is also idli mix. It can be prepared from all millets or from multi millets. All these products are readily available in the market. Many of them are already marketed successfully. And also I told, because millets, they need dehusking, and no machine will dehusk it 100% level, because there will be, you have to recirculate it so that it can be dehusked completely. So in such a way, in such cases, what we have done, we have used a milling technology wherein dehusking is not required. You use the husked millet and prepare husk-free flour from millets. And the benefit of here is only the fat content decreases, but other nutritional is on par with its brown millet counterpart. And again, it gives some 4 months shelf life. This is also a technology from CFTRI, but only the drawback is you can use in flour-based product, not grain-based. So, and then finger millet is known for its malting characteristics. See, if you go for malting, that is germination, there is one enzyme which develops, that is called amylases. So the grain which develops, elaborates so much of amylases during germination is barley. So that is why you can find barley, it never comes to table. Barley goes to the brewing industry. So because it is so well, it germinates, and after that wheat. And after wheat, it is finger millet or ragi. But what happens, wheat during germination, the flavor is not so appealing. So that is why ragi is traditionally germinated and used as a food for children because of the development of amylases. If you see in the picture in the beaker, what happens, you add, and see here it is the amylase rich food, and this you take a rice flour or a proprietary food. What happens, you take the same amount of water in both the beaker and add same amount of the material, either 2 spoon, cook it, this remains thin because of the action of amylases. And the other one is it becomes bulky. So what it means, it means that in the same water you can cook more flour here, so that it is a nutrient dense food. So we have based on this concept, we made a technology which was transferred more than 25 entrepreneurs. It is a malted weaning food based on finger millet. So but what happens with the change in now everything has changed, and no mother also, everybody has is most of the working mothers, to offer convenience, what we have we converted this into a ready to eat form, because it's just like maybe the other marketed food. The product, mother has to either mix it with milk or has warm water and feed it to the child. So this product is suitable for children of 6 months to 2 to 3 years. See, this is here in this, what you see is it is a ready to eat type of product. So this product can be incorporated with any seasonal fruits, like maybe either maybe go for apple or oranges, and even the vegetable like a carrot also can be incorporated, so that the color also improves and you get the based products here. And then one more product is preparation of some hydrolysate. So this hydrolysate is like based on finger millet malt. This is a novel product which can go into as a filler material into many of the confectionery and also the pharma industry. See, in pharma, maybe for example, you consider that you are making a tablet, and the active component or active chemical is there, so it should be held by a base material. So this can be a base material which gives almost the natural, almost it gives, because of its ragi, the health benefits associated from ragi also it gives, and also it can dissolve in water or any other media very easily. So it is a new product which we call it as a ragi based malt hydrolysate. And even the ragi also we can prepare a premix or a ready mix for laddu, which is already it is in the field in Odisha state. In Kionjar, it is already incorporated as a take-home ration for school-going children. So it is given as a snack twice in a week. Almost one time 20 gram of one laddu is given, which gives adequate nutrition, and it is only based on roasting technology. But we have seen that the technology is modified in such a way that the most of the nutrients are digestible. So that is where it was taken care. This is one product which is very typical to Karnataka, and sometimes in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh also they make ragi ball. That is, we call it as a ragi mudde. So what happens, it is a traditional product. So one has to add like the traditional method, you make a thin slurry, add the flour into that and knead it very vigorously. If you make in a bulk, one has to knead it very vigorously, otherwise you will end up with a lot of lumps. So this lumps will any skilled person only can do it. Otherwise, a non-traditional consumer cannot make mudde very easily, because slight variation, you will end up in lumps. For a known person, it is very easy, some 10 minutes job. So what we have done, we have made one flour that is suitable for this ragi ball. You have to mix it with water. You just mix it with water and shape it however you want, and then steam it in idli cooker. Even you can make it as a small balls, and then maybe you can think of like, add like some sauce and other things like mudde Manchurian type. So, you can have that pricks, and then, the sticks, and then one can have it like, modernized way of mudde eating. So this is how you can popularize the product, and the non-traditional consumer also can make this product very easily. And ragi is very typical to this south part. North Indians, they do not like it because it is only flour based products are possible. Maybe ragi roti, ragi mudde, or ragi dosa, such kind of things, and even laddu. And it also it is dark in color, as you have seen. So what we have done, we have hardened the endosperm and then made a decorticated ragi. This is called as ragi rice, which can be cooked like lemon rice or khichdi, or even you can make kheer, and you can even make expanded product like murmura in this. And this is poha from ragi. This is also possible, but only thing is they are small in size and can be further toasted and blistered, and you can convert it into ready to eat. You can use like any breakfast cereal. And coming to the bakery end, we have bajra bread and ragi bread, and also ragi rusk, and we have gluten-free cookies. This is from completely from proso millet. There is no wheat added into this, and this is from other millets. This is not. This is also gluten-free. There is no wheat is added, and but this pasta is composite. Pasta is composite. It is, there is some part of wheat in this, and we have even ragi biscuits also. And you can even prepare semolina from ragi. And then we have prepared recently, because making rava from ragi is a challenge. So that was addressed. And from there, we have developed different products like khichdi mix, upma mix, and sweet mix, that is like a kesari bath mix from ragi semolina. And also ragi, I told we have a process for ragi, that is a preparation of enzyme rich flour. So this is a base material for the weaning food, for the beverage mix, what I have told, and many products like malt hydrolysate, this can be used. And coming to the machinery part, we have one mudde making machine, which gives per hour almost 200 to 250 ready mudde, which is almost 200 gram each, one ball size. So this is also a technology. And we have a pedal operated mill, which doesn't require any electricity. That is also free technology from CFTRI. If you log into CFTRI website, you will find one icon there. It is free technologies. Under this, refining of sorghum millet is also free technology. Pedal operated this de-husking mill is also a free technology. So that is also available. And then these are all not yet converted into technologies, but almost all the research work we have done. So what happens, I told, we either when you remove some part of seed coat of ragi as a byproduct, and even in malting also we remove some part of the seed coat. So that byproduct utilization, you can convert it into a flour like this, which can be incorporated into like a cake, which looks like a chocolate cake. So 50% of it is we incorporated, and we made something like a pastry, a bread spread. A bread spread, which can be like, used like this, like as a chocolate flavor, you can add to that. Or we made it into small, this kind of tablets, which can be added into, like you had a drink like with a jaljeera and all. It sounds very good. So even this can be added into as a fiber source and calcium source to even your chat masala, sambar powder, or such other thing. And even this is also, the byproduct is utilized in making of biscuits. It goes into a high fiber biscuit, and still it is very much sensorily acceptable. And because I told most of the millets, you can convert them as like poha or flakes, but they look small in size. So what one can go is, you can restructure, you can combine all the flour and restructure, and then you can make poha out of all many grains. So you can make designer products. And this is the product which is from decorticated ragi. an expanded product. It is like a murmura. It can go into anything, like, from chocolate crispies to many other products. That is possible. Thank you.